I'm just popping out to do a quick bit of shopping, and then I've got to go pick Jasper up from preschool. Back to the old daily grind. And while we're doing that, I'm going to talk about efficiency in EVs. I want to just sort of cover off what kind of strategies you can employ in order to drive how you want, more or less, and still get decent efficiency. Due to unexpected tyre inflation issues, my plans have completely changed. Right, I'm not quite sure what to do. Doesn't tell me which blinking tyre it is, does it? Why can't somebody design an unpuncturable tyre? What is wrong with people, eh? Right, so I've got Jasper now. I've decided to get him a little bit early, and then we can go get this tyre sorted, hopefully. I'm hoping it can be fixed. It might not be fixable. It's obviously a slow enough puncture that we can drive on it, which is great, because otherwise Jasper would have been picked up really late. Yeah, the car in front is the Toyota. We're just waiting for it to move. And then we'll go in there and they'll fix our tyre, hopefully. Got to remember to put it in jack mode. Jack mode is on. A big nail, and that is why the air is coming out. Can you hear it hissing? Yeah, they're going to put a little plug in it and fix it, and whilst we're waiting for them to fix it, we're going to go get coffee. Fantastic.
And I want to get a cup of tea, a baby chino.
You want a baby chino? Yeah. Excellent. Let's have a quick gander in here, see what we can see. Oh, looks relatively mucky. Which I suppose is what you'd expect, really, isn't it? You can see exactly what kind of battery I've got here. There's lots of different kinds of Tesla battery, as they've sort of revised the chemistry and the design of them. I've got one of the D packs, which is good because I think some of the earlier packs weren't so good. That's the offending article. Up ahead.
Then I'll just drive in forest. But that car is going up.
Whoa! You've literally never had this much fun, have you, Jasper? I'm just going to get the wheel torque nut value or whatever it is. Time for that coffee, I think. Hang on, let me wipe you. 175 Newton meters. That's the torque setting on the lug nuts. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't touch, Jasper. You get dirty on your hands. Oh great, and then rub it on your top. Perfect.
Finished.
Fundamental problem. See this gravel drive? I hate gravel. It hides little nails and all manner of evils. In fact, I'm going to get a magnet on a string, I think, and...
Daddy's wheel got fixed. Yay!
Okay, time to try going out again. Hopefully this time without any emergency tyre pressure warnings. Okay, so let's talk efficiency tips. Obviously, the first one is speed. The quicker you're going, the quicker you will burn through your power. With an electric car, it uses so little energy when it's just sitting there that actually the optimum speed is usually something like 12, 15 miles an hour, something really, really slow. In other words, the slower you go, the better. There is a caveat. If you're on small local roads where you're going to have to stop and start quite often, every time you slow down, you're going to lose some energy, and every time you speed up, you're going to lose some energy. So that's something to think about. You can't drive down the motorway at a steady 15 miles an hour, and you wouldn't want to anyway, because it would take you forever to get anywhere. Trucks in this country are limited to about somewhere between 52 and 56 miles an hour usually. So if you really want range, stick at about that sort of speed. Also, if you drive behind a truck, it will help push the air out the way, and you'll get as much as an extra 10% in your range by basically drafting the truck in front. And you don't have to be right bumper to bumper. I don't know how far I am. What am I, like four car lengths from the truck in front? And at this sort of distance, I probably get about 10%, I would say, extra range. The other thing that is worth noting is if it's winter time and it's cold outside, definitely preheat the car using the app. That way it will also preheat the battery. Right, now let's talk about slowing down. And there are basically 3 ways to slow down in an electric car. The first and most inefficient is to use the physical brakes. The second way is to use regen. And when you use regen, you're basically going to lose about 30% of the power, the kinetic energy in the car. And the final way is to coast, where basically every little bit of kinetic energy turns into distance covered. Obviously, there is a limit to how much you can coast without driving other vehicles completely and utterly bonkers, so you do have to bear these things in mind. Then we come to the wonder that is hills. The length of time that you're on a hill is going to hurt you, because when you're sitting on a hill, the car's not just overcoming resistance and powering the car forwards, it is also having to overcome gravity. Generally speaking, the efficiency will improve a little bit if you give it a bit more speed up a hill and then coast down the other side. It's a balancing act, driving efficiently. And one of the most key things, honestly, is to just drive in a smooth fashion. Smooth and controlled. And try and avoid having to stop. Which is one of the things that really hurts the Tesla, actually. Teslas are not good at stop-start traffic. Kind of goes without saying, given the car weighs so much. Cruising down the motorway at a sensible, steady speed, that's pretty optimal, really, for a Tesla. Teslas have got a lower coefficient of drag than a lot of other EVs out there, so consequently, they can handle a higher speed with less of an efficiency penalty. Weight doesn't really make a huge amount of difference to the amount of energy consumption, and when I've had this car absolutely loaded up to the gunnels, completely 100% chock-a-block full of people and luggage, I've barely noticed any kind of a difference at all, except perhaps when in heavy stop-start traffic. I really don't basically factor weight in at all. I mean, it seems to make at most 2 or 3% difference between an empty car and a full car. If I had a roof rack on, that would certainly make quite a lot of difference. And what it would do is it would make the penalty for driving quickly greater. Okay, what else? Obviously it helps if you don't have a puncture. Speaking of which, so far so good on the puncture front. Not had any warning lights up. Looks like that tyre is A-okay. You know, it's funny. When I used to drive a Nissan Leaf, efficiency was absolutely key. You drive a bigger battery car and you really do start to not really worry too much about efficiency most of the time. I quite like driving efficiently. I usually sort of almost take it as a bit of a game. Is there anything else? Oh yes, water. Water on the road is going to make a big difference. A very big difference. Again, trucks can be your friends there. When you've got a great big truck ploughing down the road, in the tracks of that truck, it will have pushed most of the road water to the side. Pretty much standing water on the roads, that's really gonna hurt, like 20%. I think it snowed like once since I've had this car, so I'm not the right person to ask about that. The thing about snow is you tend to drive very smoothly, so you don't skid, and you tend to drive quite slowly unless you're an idiot. So between those two things, you're probably going to gain some of what you lose through added resistance, perhaps? I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. When it's really, really windy, yet again, trucks are your friends. If you've got a strong headwind, then sitting behind a truck will make an even greater impact than usual. It does help if the car's clean. I know, it's on my list. What else? The tyres, properly inflated. Underinflated tyres, not going to help range. Oh yes, and somebody asked, a couple of days ago I think it was, if they do a short burst of acceleration, is that going to really hurt range? No, in my experience, it's totally unnoticeable, provided you coast to slow back down again. And I think that's probably about it for the tips. It's always nice to have a couple of days off. I watched a program called Sense8 on Netflix. It's actually really good. I've been avoiding watching it for ages, but I really enjoyed it. I haven't watched all of it, of course, but I've watched a few episodes. I'm going to make myself a coffee. I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, remember to like it, share it and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next instalment of my daily vlog. Bye. Fantastic. Are you liking that? Yeah, you can have my cookie. That's very nice of me, isn't it, Jasper?
No, I gotta have my own cookie.
Yeah, you can have both of them. You want both of them?
No, thank you.
Oh. Obviously looking after his waistline.
My son is cooking.